Gentlemen, let me ask you something honest. Have you ever been in that intimate moment with your partner, feeling incredible closeness and pleasure, but you notice she isn't quite on the same page? Maybe she enjoys the connection, but reaching that peak just doesn't happen for her. Or perhaps it happens occasionally, but it feels unpredictable, like you're guessing in the dark. You're not alone in this. This is a silent frustration that millions of men face, and often it leads to a slow decline in intimacy and confidence for both partners. But before we dive into the science of why this happens and how to fix it, I want to mention that if you are looking to truly optimize your internal performance and cardiovascular health to match these techniques, check out the 7-day natural protocol to regain stamina and male power in the link pinned in the comments below. External technique is half the battle. Internal biology is the other. Here's a statistic that stopped me cold when I first saw it in clinical literature. Research shows that while 95% of men regularly reach climax during intimacy, only about 65% of women do. And when you dig deeper into the data, less than 30% of women climax from penetration alone. That is a staggering gap. For decades, we've been told that this gap is just the way it is. But the truth is, the reason that gap exists has nothing to do with how long you last, how strong you are, or even how much you care. It comes down to basic biology, blood flow, and most critically, the angle of engagement. I'm Celeste Rowan, and this is Strong and Ageless. Today, I'm going to share the 5 best positions for female orgasm backed by real peer-reviewed research, including a landmark 2022 study where scientists used high-resolution 3D ultrasound imaging to literally measure blood flow through the clitoral structure in real time. We now know that some positions increase that blood flow by up to 38%. I'll also share the 2 positions that almost never work and the physiological reasons why they fail. Stay with me until the end because I'll also give you 3 bonus techniques you can use in any position starting tonight. Before we dive in, please subscribe to the Strong and Ageless channel to join our community of men in their 40s, 50s, and beyond who are taking control of their vitality and relationships. Also, let me know in the comments where you're watching from today. I love seeing where our global community is growing. For decades, men have been fed a lie by movies, magazines, and locker room conversations. They've painted this picture that if a man simply performs long enough or intensely enough, his partner will be satisfied. Most men genuinely believe this. They're not selfish, they are simply misinformed. And that misinformation is costing couples real intimacy. Here's the biological truth. The vast majority of a woman's pleasure centers are concentrated in the clitoris. But here's what most doctors don't explain clearly enough. The clitoris is not just that small external tip you can see. The full clitoral structure is massive. It extends several inches internally with 2 legs that wrap around the vaginal canal like a wishbone. This entire structure contains over 8,000 nerve endings. To put that in perspective, that is more than twice the number found in the entire penis. During arousal, this entire internal structure fills with blood and becomes engorged, exactly like a male erection. It becomes sensitive, swollen, and highly responsive. The problem? In most standard positions, the ones most men default to, the angle of penetration completely bypasses consistent contact with this structure. Most of those 8,000 nerve endings are simply not being engaged, not because of anything you're doing wrong, but because the physics aren't aligned. Let's start with position number 5, sitting face to face. When she straddles you face to face while you are seated on the edge of a sturdy bed or a firm chair, her upright posture creates natural, sustained pressure between your pubic bones. This provides moderate, consistent clitoral contact. But the deeper reason this drives orgasm has to do with oxytocin. Eye contact, sustained skin-to-skin touch, and synchronized breathing flood both bodies with this bonding hormone. Oxytocin doesn't just feel good, it directly enhances arousal and lowers the psychological barrier that prevents many women from fully letting go. For a significant number of women, feeling emotionally safe and genuinely seen is a physiological requirement for orgasm. To execute this, you sit first, legs slightly apart for stability. She straddles facing you, hands resting on your shoulders. Your hands go on her hips, not to control movement, but to offer gentle support. The motion here is not bouncing, it is rocking, grinding, and circling. She controls the depth, the angle, and the pace. Let her lead completely. Now, let's move to number 4, the sideline position, or spooning. This position is dramatically underestimated. When both bodies are lying on their sides in parallel, something remarkable happens physiologically. The internal angle created is gentle and gliding rather than abrupt. There is no joint strain or deep hip flexion required. A relaxed body is a body that can actually build toward orgasm, because orgasm is a neurological event that requires the nervous system to be in a calm, receptive state. But the secret sauce of this position is your hand. It is completely free throughout the entire encounter. You have full access to provide external stimulation, the very thing that over 70% of women need to reach climax. No awkward repositioning is needed. Place a small pillow between her knees to align the hips and keep the angle consistent. Focus on short, rhythmic rocking rather than deep thrusting. Next is position number 3, the coital alignment technique, or CAT. This is a hidden clinical gem. It's a modified version of missionary that changes everything by focusing on one variable, continuity of stimulation. In standard missionary, contact with the clitoral area is intermittent. It comes and goes. Arousal builds and then partially resets. In CAT, both partners shift their bodies slightly upward, about 2 to 3 inches, so that the base of your pelvis maintains constant sliding pressure against her clitoral area. The movement shifts from in and out to a synchronized forward and back rocking. A 2015 study found that women reported significantly higher arousal rates with this because the signal never stops. It takes practice, but once you lock into it, it's intensely effective. Now we're moving into the top 2. Position number 2, missionary with a pillow. The problem with missionary isn't the intimacy, it's the angle. Fixing that angle requires nothing more than a firm pillow. Placing it under her hips tilts the pelvis upward at approximately 15 to 20 degrees. This minor shift changes the physics of every movement. Ultrasound imaging confirmed that this adjustment brings your pubic bone into consistent, direct contact with the clitoral area. A study out of UCLA found that women reported a 30% improvement in sensation from this single adjustment. It also increases blood flow to the anterior vaginal wall, adding an entirely separate layer of stimulation. Finally, we arrive at the number 1 position, woman on top, face to face. Multiple peer-reviewed studies identify this as the most reliable position for female orgasm. When she is on top, gravity works in her favor, allowing blood to pool in the pelvic region. When she leans forward, her clitoris makes direct contact with your pubic bone. But the real reason this is number 1, control. In the 2022 imaging study, researchers found that when women controlled their own angle, blood flow increased by an average of 38%. Her ability to adjust the angle and rhythm in real time dissolves performance anxiety and allows her to pursue exactly what her body needs. Now, we must discuss the 2 positions that consistently fail, the standing shower scene and hyperacrobatic positions. In the shower, slippery footing creates anxiety, and water washes away natural lubrication, leading to discomfort. In hyperacrobatic positions, extreme hip flexion creates muscle tension. A tense body cannot orgasm. Orgasm requires the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and restore state, to be dominant. These positions activate the stress response instead. As I promised, here are 3 bonus techniques. First, the angle adjustment. Even a half-inch shift in hip positioning can increase contact by 20%. Think of it like fine-tuning a radio station. Keep moving until the signal is crystal clear. Second, the shallow focus. The first 2 to 3 inches of the canal contain the highest concentration of nerve endings. Deep penetration often moves past the pleasure zone. Third, the combination approach. Combining penetration with direct external stimulation increases orgasm likelihood by up to 70%. Using a hand or a device isn't a sign of weakness, it's teamwork. None of this works without communication. Timing is everything. Don't bring this up in the heat of the moment. Choose a calm time to say, "I've been learning about ways we could make our time together even better. Would you be open to exploring some new things?" Frame it as an adventure, not a fix. Try just one of these adjustments this week. Pick the position that feels most natural and give it an honest attempt. And I want to hear from you. Which of these science-backed shifts surprised you the most? Tell me in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the 7-day natural protocol to regain stamina and male power in the pinned comment to ensure your body is ready to perform at its peak. I'm Celeste Rowan, and I'll see you in the next video.